guys, Samantha from Samantha Tutorials here, and welcome back to another scrap tutorial. So these are the scraps we're going to be using today. The link to the video that I used, the link to the video where they came from is in the description below. These are the scraps of said project, and they're what we're going to be using today. So I've just stored them in a little plastic bag, because the video was a while back. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them out, and they're these nice little metal leaf pieces. And keep in mind, again, you don't have to necessarily use the exact same scraps that I'm going to be using. Here you can use any colourful scraps that you think will work for this project. There we go, and that should be enough. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop them together into kind of one sheet. They don't need to be all level, that's something we can fix later on. Right now I just want them all to be pressed together into one piece, and then we are going to cut out strips from them. Okay, then I'm just going to grab a piece of paper and I'm just going to give it a very quick roll. If we distort it, that's perfectly fine. I just want them to be bonded together. And this will flatten it out a bit, but I'm, again, not too worried about it being perfectly even. This is mostly just to stick them together. There we go. And you can see there that we have some major highs and lows. And I actually have a piece right here for the areas where I can really see that we've got some holes that are going to need to be plugged. I will go in and just fill those spots up and then make another pass over it with the roller. Again, burnishing it will come later. There we go. Lift that from the tile so that it's not stuck down. Then I'm going to bring over a crinkle blade and I'm just going to cut away this side over here that we're not going to use, and then I'm going to just cut strips like so. And again, they don't have to be perfectly even or anything like that, just want to cut strips. Okay, and that should be enough. Just going to bring over another piece of paper and a piece of black polymer clay that was run out on my middle setting. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to pop them onto the surface and kind of squiggle them like so. And you can overlap them, it's completely up to you how you want to apply them. They can all be going in the same general direction if you would prefer that. Just lay them down exactly the way that you would prefer them to be placed. Okay, and that should do for now. Then any areas where they might be overlapping, I'm just going to press down. And then I'm going to go in with a piece of paper. And actually I might just use a roller for this, so I'm okay if it distorts a bit. And I'm just going to roll it completely flat. Like so. Okay. And there we go, that's how it should come out. And you can see here that it's pretty much all flat, there's no seams. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side for now, we don't need that right this second. I'm going to bring over another piece of paper that's been rolled out on the thickest, not my piece of paper, piece of black that's been rolled out on the thickest set of my pasta machine. I'm just going to give it a quick burnish so that it's nice and flat and doesn't have any blemishes. Like so. There we go. Okay. Then I've got some metallic inks off to the side. I've got a gold, silver and copper. I'm going to start with the gold. I'm just going to drop and then I'm going to blow with a straw. Like so. Drop another one here. going to move on to the silver. Okay, and I might just add another gold here. And then lastly, I have some copper. And just spread these out as you wish. There we go. Then just go pop this over top, and this should pick up any inks that aren't necessarily dry after the process, and just give it a slightly more tattered look. So I'm going to rip this off quickly so it does take away some of that ink. And there we go. So you can see there what it took off. And it's just given it a more interesting effect. If you don't like that and you don't want that effect, just don't burnish the paper over the top. Okay. And so now with our two veneers, I'm just going to pop that one to the side because I'm going to do the exact same to it as I am with this one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that blade from before and I'm going to cut pieces from it, and again it's going to vary in thickness. It's completely up to you how those look. Do that with that one and then repeat with the other one. Okay, then I've just got both of them sitting off to the side and I've got a piece of paper here. So then I want you to just grab a piece from each, like so, and just slot them together. Shouldn't be too tricky. There we go. Slot them together, and the reason I'm doing it on a piece of paper is so that it doesn't stick to the tile and it will just make things a lot easier later on. So it might jump around a little bit, but that's fine. And just continue placing them together like so. There we go. Then piece of paper again, and this time we are going to burnish those pieces together. So I generally will burnish parallel with the lines just to limit distortion. And continue doing that until it is completely flat and smooth and you don't have any gaps left. Okay, and there we go. So final step, just take a piece of black that was rolled out to about the same thickness. I'm just going to trim away this excess here. And all you want to do is just kind of roughly cut that in half, doesn't have to be perfect. And now this is because I'm going to be making a bowl, and so I want to just expand this a bit. If you're not making a bowl and you just want to cut out earrings, then you should not really need to this. You should have enough clay. And you apply to one side, and I will do the same to the other side. And then you're going to burnish that like you did before. And there we go. Then just going to bring over my cutter of choice and just make sure that that's in the right spot. Okay, and I'm quite happy where that is sitting. So then I'm going to press down, and you can use any cutter shape that you want. It's just this kind of reminded me of fall, and so I wanted to do it in a leaf shape. Just press around the outside, and most of this black you'll be able to salvage. What I'll do is I'll just actually tear that away from the cutter. You should be able to see here, and that is pure black. You can just pop that straight back. That's not going to end up as scraps. And I do like to do this before I lift the cutter up, because since it's such a large cutter, sometimes I don't press down firmly enough in some areas, and so I like to rip away the outside first, so that I make sure I have a nice clean cut. and lift that straight up, and you've got yourself a leaf shape. And I'm just going to bring over a nice large bowl for this to fit in. Okay, press that down. And this part over here is raised a little bit, but what we can do after it's baked is when it comes out of the oven and it's still hot, I'll gently press it down onto the tile and this bit will flatten out. I'll see if I can show that. But yeah, I'm just going to position it until I'm happy with the overall shape of the bowl, and then I'll bake that for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature. Okay, and here it is out of the oven. So you can see how nicely that has cleared up, and the metallics actually have become stronger. I think it's been a while since I had a look at it, but I do believe the metallics have gone a bit stronger. You might need to give the edges a little sand. This one is okay, so I'm not going to worry about that, but you may need to give it a little sand. Now in regards to the back, I do want to apply backing, and so I have taken the thickness of the bowl into account and I've made it a bit thinner than I would have liked it. I've got a piece of black here that was rolled out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. And I'm not going to worry about sticking it on with liquid clay because this clay is pretty fresh and I don't want it to be downright sticky. So by adding the liquid clay, it's quite sticky enough, so I'm just going to press it onto the surface here, just roughly enough to get a imprint, like so. And you could actually use your cutter. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure why I'm doing this way. Seems silly, but yeah, I actually forgot. Anyway, use your cutter to cut out your shape. It's easier. Here we go. And I'm not too worried about things like fingerprints because I've got a texture sponge off to the side here that I am going to use to impress the texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that on roughly, because it's probably not going to be the exact right shape, just through the fact that by handling it like this it is going to have a bit of distortion here and there, but that's not too big an issue. Just go ahead and stick it around and make sure that it's coming up over the edges and that you don't have any air bubbles. And this is why I'm using a nice sticky piece of clay. Okay, then bring over your sponge or texture of choice, and I'm just going to go over that. Actually might do it from the front, make it easier. And I'm just going to texture the entire thing completely, as you can see there. Okay, and there we go. Now you can see that there's a bunch of clay spill over here, and that's why I wasn't too worried about it fitting exactly. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the sides with my blade, just my craft knife, and I'm going to trim away that excess. And that shouldn't take too long, you can just run along the edge like so. Okay, then just take your finger and just run it along the side to remove that sharp edge, so that you create just a gentle bevel effect. Again, I'm not too worried about fingerprints at this point. We're going to give this a final texture just to clean it up. It's just easier to do the full texture first, because by pressing it down so hard it can create distortion. This time around we only have to texture very certain spots where we ended up getting fingerprints. Okay, and there we go, that will have given us a nice gentle bevel. Then you can just go in with your sponge and just do a very quick once over, and don't forget to also tap along the sides. Then pop that onto a piece of plain printing paper and bake it for another hour at Primo's recommended temperature so that it's nice and strong and ready to use. And then I am going to be covering it in a Varathane gloss varnish. Okay, and here it is out of the oven. So nicely textured back. This is nice and thick now. Now I'm going to varnish it. So I'm just using some Varathane gloss varnish. I just like to apply a bit here. Make sure that your piece is completely cooled and is not just coming straight out of the oven when you do this, because the varnish will dry very quickly. And especially with these large pieces like this, I need a bit of time to spread it all out and get it to level. So make sure that it's not hot in any way, because otherwise it will cure very quickly. Also, if you're having trouble with it not evening out and it's giving you streak lines and stuff, something you can do is to just add a little bit of water to it. It does mean that it'll take a bit longer to dry, but I do find that that helps whenever I am encountering streaks when I'm using gloss varnishes. So I'm just tending to the sides, like so. And then I'll go through and I'll just blow to get rid of any air bubbles and also to encourage it to self-level. Let that dry and then repeat on the back. Okay, and here it is once it's varnished. And I've also done the back. And so yeah, that's basically it for today's tutorial. It's just another way that you can use scraps. Again, you can use any scraps you want. You don't have to use the exact ones that I used in today's video. Any would work for this technique. But yeah, I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please do let me know in the comments below, and please remember to leave a like on this video, as that is greatly appreciated. And if you would like to support the channel further, please do consider becoming a patron or a member of the channel. There is a link to my Patreon in the description below, and there is a join button to become a member of this channel below the video. Also, buying tools and supplies that I use in my videos, like the cutter that I used in today's, also is another great way to support the channel if you're interested. But leaving a like also really helps and is greatly appreciated. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.